Hi, I'm Ryan Szymanski, curator for Battleship New Jersey Museum and Memorial. Today, we're on top of the aft stack where sometime in the late 80s, probably around 1987, 1988, the Navy installed an antenna for controlling the RPV drones that were assigned to the ship. New Jersey got a kind of unique arrangement with this in that she only ever had the one antenna right here. The antenna first was installed on board USS Iowa, probably around 1986. She was the test platform for drones. Because they were such a big gunnery ship, they were experimenting with all sorts of ways to shoot their guns further, and that included ways to do aerial observation of shells that went over the horizon. And so they started using RPV drones, which had originally been adopted by the Israeli military, and that was one of the earliest uses of military drones for observation purposes. Obviously, Snoopy goes a little bit further back, but this is very much a modern drone in the sense that it's recognized today among the modern things like Pioneers and Reapers and other stuff like that. Iowa originally got a radar dome right here. I believe the next ship to get one would have been Missouri. And while she had this platform installed, it seems like it was initially installed directly below us on the middle of the Sea-Whiz platform. And she had the dome there for at least one deployment before they moved it up here. New Jersey gets one installed up here, and then when Wisconsin is reactivated, she gets two. At a certain point, they found out that the forward superstructure obstructs this antenna. In fact, the aft stack here obstructs it a little bit too, because these things land by essentially crashing into a volleyball net that's rigged on the fantail of the ship. So obviously from here, I can't really see that from this antenna because the stack is blocking it. So they actually installed a smaller antenna back on the aviation shack back aft, the former film projector booth. But the other three Iowas each got one of these domes mounted on the forward superstructure. New Jersey never got that. I suspect Iowa got hers first. I suspect Missouri's second one was actually our first one when we were decommissioned, and then Wisconsin got two, and I bet they were the two that were off of Iowa, because by the time Wisconsin is being activated and working up, Iowa is being prepared for decommissioning. Interestingly, there were only two of these drone squadrons, one in the Atlantic, one in the Pacific, and that was fine because typically one of the battleships in each fleet was active and the other one was in port. So they're already trading off the two Connex boxes that would have gone under Turret 3 and the personnel that were manning these. Basically every time they come into port, they just swap them over to the other ship. So it makes sense that they would have swapped over these antennas. Now, as for the antennas, we don't really know what they look like. We've got a square base right here, which is what that antenna would have mounted on. But then it was inside of a radome, a big round fiberglass dome. It would have been probably about this high, maybe a little bit taller than me. Currently, Missouri is the only one that has one installed. I believe they were able to get theirs off of one of the ships in the mothball fleet at Pearl Harbor. So, because this was a kind of new and experimental thing, the Navy didn't build a special new dome for this. They used the SPQ-9 or Spook-9 radar antenna for fire control, the Mark 86 fire control system. They just took the dome that would normally go on one of those and put it on Iowa. That makes sense. The Spruance-class destroyers that were using this dome were being built in Pascagoula at the exact same place where Iowa and Wisconsin are reactivated. So they've probably got some spares there that were shipped in, or maybe they're even decommissioning those ships at this point. They've got some spares that way. And so it seems like that's where these domes came from. They're the exact same dimensions. So, since New Jersey is going into dry dock, since Missouri was able to get one, and since we're looking at, well, what are some visible projects we can do as part of this dry docking process? So we're going to spend $10 million on the underwater hull, and you won't really see any of the work that we've done, except by having the ship still be here in 30 years instead of sitting on the bottom of the Delaware River. But we were trying to think of what are some visual things that we can add to the ship, especially topside, to show that we've done some work. So we reached out to the reserve fleet here in Philadelphia because there are several Ticonderoga-class cruisers in there with the Spook 9 radar domes on them. We said, hey, the ship is going to be there. Can we just crane one of those domes off of one of those ships and just put it right on New Jersey while she's in the yard? And the Navy said no. That they have a process for getting parts off of inactive ships, and we will be allowed to go through that process at some point in the future when those ships are open up for parts, assuming we don't have to use a crane and can remove it with hand tools only, as per their instructions. So essentially, we don't believe we're going to be able to get one from the Navy. We reached out to a couple of companies that make these sorts of fiberglass domes for things like weather radars and for other civilian uses, and even for government contracts. And we asked, hey, what would it cost for us to buy one of these? And some of them told us it was going to be in the $30,000 range, and one of them said we could have it for free as long as we paid for shipping. So we really appreciate that support from Infinite Technologies, Radomes, and Composite Structures that said it's un-American that the Navy won't give you one of these. We would love to support the museum and give you one. So they are in the process of manufacturing one of these domes for us right now. We're hoping that it comes later this year at around the same time that we're going to be reinstalling the mast and the SPS-49 radar antenna. We'll already have a crane on the pier, so we'll be able to install this dome on here as well. We really appreciate their support. Like I said, they're only charging us the shipping costs to get the dome here. So that's where I need your help. Right now we're spending all of our money on dry docking the ship. If you guys are able to contribute at all towards the installation of the new Radome on the ship, that would be huge. This is the last major thing that the ship is missing topside. That when you look at the ship in silhouette, there's something empty here that's missing. And I'm really looking forward to getting that replaced. And with your help, we can do that. The drones are one of the coolest and most important pieces of technology that were added to these ships in the 80s. And one of those technologies that can very easily be tied into the military today. While so many of the other things on this ship are completely obsolete, this was cutting edge and something still used now. And right now we aren't able to show anything of that. We don't have any of the drones. AEI hasn't gotten back to us to give us one. The drone control room is completely gutted, but the antenna will be an extremely visual thing that we'll be able to show off to the public to help demonstrate this cutting-edge technology that the battleships used. What are some important technologies you think we should highlight on the ship? Let us know in the comment section down below. Battleship New Jersey receives operating support from the New Jersey Department of State and support from a number of individuals and private companies, such as Infinite Technologies, Radomes, and Composite Structures. We really appreciate their support, and we appreciate your support in helping us get this installed. Again, there's a link in the description below if you'd like to donate towards this. You can also support us by liking, sharing, and subscribing so more people find about the museum and our channel. Thanks for watching.